Hey YouTube, how is it going? This is Vaibhav, and today we are going to talk about why read. I wanted to make this video to talk about my personal experiences as to why I started reading and how it has started changing my life and the way I think about things and why I think you should do it too. Coming right up. Just a year ago, I started investing into stocks and cryptocurrency at the same time, and I wanted to do it right. And that's the reason why I started reading some articles and some books about investments. But while doing that, I came across this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it completely changed the way I started thinking about life. And I just wanted to have more of it, so I started reading more books that were recommended in Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it just went on and on. And today I'm looking at almost 30 books that I have read in an year, which is still a pretty low number sometimes I come to think of it. But let's first talk about why read. First of all, it expands your vocabulary. I know vocabulary is not a problem for most people, but I come from India, where English is a second language. It's not the first language, but there are some words that I have never heard of sometimes, and reading books has really expanded that vocabulary, especially right now. We live in a great digital era, and Kindle is my new best friend. I buy most of my books digital. Now Kindle has some limitations, right? So every time I go to Amazon and I see a good book, I always go to the reviews section and I check the bad reviews first. Typically those bad reviews are targeted towards Kindle because there are sometimes flowcharts, pie charts, or graphs that do not show up correctly on Kindle. I hope they fix it soon. But either they are too small, either they do not fit to the page, and that just puts you off. It doesn't add value to that digital copy at all. So every time I see a bad review for Kindle, I typically just go and buy a hard copy. But I like sticking to Kindle digital editions of books. It's great. You can carry as many books as you want at the same time. Another great thing I have now started doing is audiobooks. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free credit per month. Use that if you have one. If you're not even reading books, just go ahead and buy a really good book that interests you and buy an audiobook. You can hear that book while you drive, you can hear that book while you cook, you can hear that book while going to sleep. And I have had 3 books so far. I just found out that you get 1 free Audible credit. I didn't know about it, to be frank. So far I have 3 books. Most of the books that I have come across or I've heard samples of have great narrations. These days we have really good people narrating books, so I highly recommend you to go and listen to an audiobook if you want to. Now the next benefit I think that happens when you read is that you start cultivating ideas, and I suggest you set up a routine to do so. So basically what I mean is, for myself, I typically read 30 minutes in the morning when I wake up. I read 30 minutes before going to sleep. What this does is it starts rewiring your brain. That's what I think happens. What it does is, because when you read and sleep, the next morning you wake up, either you have dreamt about an idea when you do that, or when the next morning when you wake up, you still have that topic fresh in your mind to think about it. It could very well happen that you might step into a shower and you might still be thinking about it, and something pops in your head that might be the next big thing, that might be the next Facebook, that might be the next Google. The next thing I wanted to talk about, and I think some people do it, and I did too, but wasn't a good thing, is speed reading. I highly recommend not to do it because in my personal experience, speed reading was not the best thing to do. If I was just starting out to read, and as I said, I didn't have that good vocabulary, even though I had Kindle with me, and I started speed reading 2 books. And by speed reading, you mean you skim through the words as fast as you can, trying to understand the context behind the sentence. But it did not benefit me at all, because by the time I was done with the book, I couldn't remember anything I read in the book, because I didn't analyze while I was reading through the book. Typically, when I read through the book, I read it carefully and I try to analyze almost each sentence to see if it impacts my life. Can I implement it? Can I use it in some form that benefits me? Since I wasn't doing that, there was really no value to what I was reading. So I would recommend never speed read a book. I think people who speed read have done it for many years, and they already know exactly what they're looking for in the book. But for someone who is starting out, I would not go for speed reading at all. The next thing I wanted to focus on is try to implement what you read. Don't try to just skim through the book. Don't try to just finish the book. Take your time. Read through the book carefully. If it's an investment book, see, so for example, I was reading this investment book that took me a long time to read, but the book really did talk about how you look at markets, how you look at timelines, how you look at the graphs, how you look at the tolerance factors and stuff. So take your time. If you're trying to cultivate a skill, it's going to help you in the long run if you don't just try to finish the book. Take your time, implement what you read in the book. If it's a book about a lifestyle, take your time to adapt to that lifestyle. Don't just rush into it. It's not going to help you, and you're probably going to have to go back and read that book again, probably go through particular sections, probably go and find those sections, and it's not going to help you at all. So if you do that, it's going to benefit you greatly in your life. Last but not the least, book clubs. You might be in any city. I live in a really small city in Wisconsin, West Bend to be precise, but even here we have book clubs, and you want to go to book clubs because you meet some really smart people. Now every city has, or every little town has their own book clubs, so go and explore. Meet these really smart people who read books, and they will recommend you good books. And it's awesome what recommendations these people have. They have the ideas of their own, and you make really good peers. That's the most important part of a lifestyle. You need to have good peers around you that have the same wavelength of thinking, and it helps you, it helps them. It's a healthy give and take relationship. So yes, go join book clubs. That's it for this video. Let me know why you read, and let me know that in the comment section, and I'd love to hear back from you. For now, it's a goodbye. You guys keep it real and have an awesome day.